The worst moments in life have a way of sneaking up on you between heartbeats. 1 second, I was laughing at a joke I'd already forgotten, and the next, my boss was swaying toward me, eyes half-lidded, champagne glass dangling from her fingertips. The holiday party's dim lighting couldn't hide her intention as she leaned in, the scent of expensive perfume and too many drinks washing over me. "Claire, you're drunk," I whispered, gently pressing my palm against her shoulder to create distance. Her expression crumbled like wet paper. "You don't want me." The vulnerability in her voice cut through the background chatter of our colleagues, most too engrossed in their own conversations to notice our corner drama. My heart hammered against my ribs as I looked at the woman who signed my paychecks, who praised my work in morning meetings, who had no idea how many nights I'd lain awake thinking about her smile. The same paychecks that kept a roof over my daughter's head. The same morning meetings I sometimes had to miss for school drop-offs. The same smile that made me forget, momentarily, the weight of raising an 8-year-old alone. "If you were sober, I'd make the first move," I admitted, surprising myself with the raw honesty. But not like this. Something shifted in her gaze, recognition, perhaps, or embarrassment. Before she could respond, my phone vibrated in my pocket. The babysitter's name flashed on the screen, and my stomach dropped. I never got calls this late unless something was wrong with Emma. "I have to take this," I said, already backing away, torn between the moment unraveling before me and my responsibilities waiting at home. The truth was, I'd been dancing around my feelings for Claire Harrison for the better part of a year. As my direct supervisor at Meridian Publishing, she was brilliant, driven, and completely off-limits. Workplace romances were complicated enough without adding a power imbalance, my single-parent status, and now, this encounter that we'd both remember very differently in the morning. As I stepped into the hallway to answer the call, I couldn't shake the image of her face, hurt, confused, vulnerable in a way I'd never seen from the woman who commanded boardrooms with effortless authority. What I didn't know then was that this moment would be the catalyst that changed everything, my career, my carefully structured life as a single father, and the walls I'd built around my heart since becoming Emma's only parent. The babysitter's voice came through frantic and breathless. "Emma's running a high fever, and she's asking for you. I think we need to go to the emergency room." In that single heartbeat, one crisis eclipsed another. I was already sprinting toward the elevator, leaving behind the holiday party, my almost kiss with my boss, and the words that would hang between us like unfinished poetry. I couldn't have known then that Monday morning would bring a reckoning far more complicated than a simple hangover. Or that Claire Harrison, who never forgot anything, would remember every word I'd said. If you're enjoying this journey, please subscribe and comment below. The emergency room's fluorescent lights cast everyone in the same sickly pallor, but Emma looked particularly small against the white hospital sheets. For hours, 2 concerned doctors, and 1 diagnosis of strep throat later, we were finally heading home. My daughter's small hand in mine felt hot, her fingers limp with exhaustion and medication. "Daddy, you smell like the fancy soap from your office bathroom," Emma mumbled as I buckled her into the car at 3:17 a.m. I forced a smile. "I came straight from the holiday party, sweetie. Was it fun?" Her eyes were already drifting closed. Was it fun? The question echoed in my mind as fractured images played on repeat, Claire's face inches from mine, the hurt in her eyes when I stopped her, the way my chest tightened when I said those words I couldn't take back. It was complicated, I answered, but Emma was already asleep. The weekend passed in a blur of antibiotics, children's movies, and soup. By Sunday night, Emma's fever had broken, and the guilt of missing Monday's important quarterly review meeting had settled in its place. I'd need to face Claire, professionally, personally, somehow. I dropped Emma at school Monday morning with extra hugs and promises to check in at lunch. The drive to Meridian Publishing felt like a march to execution. I rehearsed professional greetings, casual acknowledgements, anything to bridge the chasm of awkwardness waiting for me on the 23rd floor. The elevator doors opened, and there she was, Claire Harrison, immaculate in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent, reading something on her phone with the intensity she brought to everything. She looked up. Our eyes met. The world compressed to just the space between us. "David." My name on her lips sounded different now. Careful. Measured. In my office, please. I followed her, aware of curious glances from co-workers who sensed the tension but couldn't name it. Her office door closed with a soft click that felt like thunder. "How's Emma?" she asked, surprising me. "Your message said she was in the hospital." "She's better. Strep throat." I shifted my weight, thrown off by her knowledge of my daughter's name, by her concern. "Thank you for asking." Claire nodded, then moved to sit behind her desk, creating a professional barrier between us. "About Friday night." "We don't have to discuss it," I interrupted, desperate to avoid the humiliation of being let down gently by my boss. "I understand you were." "I remember everything I said." "And everything you said." Her voice was steady, her gaze unwavering. "I wasn't that drunk, David." The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. "Oh. If you were sober, I'd make the first move," she quoted back to me, the ghost of a smile touching her lips. "That's quite a statement to make to your supervisor." My throat went dry. "I apologize if I made you uncomfortable. It was unprofessional, Anne. I've been sober for approximately 48 hours now." She stood, circling her desk slowly. "And in that time, I've thought a lot about workplace policies, power dynamics, and the fact that I can't stop thinking about you." My heart stuttered. "Claire. I'm transferring your position to report to Thomas effective immediately," she continued, stopping a professional distance away. "The paperwork is already with HR. This removes the direct reporting conflict." I blinked, trying to process. "You're reassigning me?" "I'm removing the barrier that would make it inappropriate for me to ask you to dinner on Friday night." Her professional facade cracked just enough to show vulnerability beneath. "Unless I misinterpreted what you said." The moment hung between us, weighted with possibility. Before I could respond, her office phone buzzed loudly. "Ms. Harrison, the board members are assembled in conference room A," her assistant's voice announced. Claire didn't break eye contact with me. "I'll be right there." She reached for her portfolio, then paused. "I need an answer, David. Not just for me, but for you. There are complications here beyond the obvious." She meant Emma. She meant my life as a single father. She meant the careful balance I maintained every day. "Friday," I said, surprising myself with the certainty in my voice. "Yes to Friday." Something like relief softened her features before the professional mask slid back into place. "Good. We'll talk details later. For now, we have a quarterly review to survive." As we walked toward the conference room, maintaining a careful distance between us, my phone vibrated. The school's number flashed on the screen. My stomach dropped for the second time in 3 days. "Emma Park has been in an incident," the school secretary's clipped voice informed me. "She's asking for you, and there's someone else here claiming to be her mother." The world stopped. Because Emma's mother had walked out 5 years ago, and I hadn't heard from her since. Claire must have seen the shock on my face. "David? What's wrong?" But I was already running for the elevator, leaving behind the quarterly review, my almost something with my boss, and the careful life I'd constructed from the pieces of my broken past. The school hallway seemed to stretch endlessly before me as I ran, my dress shoes squeaking against the polished linoleum. 5 years. It had been 5 years since Vanessa had walked out on us, on Emma, who was barely 3 and couldn't understand why Mommy wasn't coming back, on me, left shattered and bewildered with divorce papers arriving 2 weeks later from a Miami address. 5 years of building a life from scratch, of answering Emma's increasingly difficult questions, of being both mother and father while working full-time. And now, Vanessa was here. I burst through the administrative office door, breathless, to find Emma sitting on a plastic chair, legs swinging nervously. Beside her sat the ghost of my past life, Vanessa, still beautiful, still with that air of restless energy that had once captivated me and ultimately driven her away from the constraints of family life. "Daddy!" Emma jumped up, running to me. I wrapped my arms around her, eyes locked on my ex-wife over our daughter's head. What are you doing here? The words came out harsher than I intended. Emma flinched against me. Vanessa stood, smoothing her expensive-looking dress. Hello, David. You look good. The principal, Mrs. Winters, cleared her throat. Mr. Park, perhaps we should speak privately. Emma was understandably confused when Ms. Chen arrived claiming to be her mother. I am her mother, Vanessa interjected, the familiar defiance in her voice sending me back to our last argument when she'd screamed that motherhood was suffocating her. Biologically, I said quietly, conscious of Emma's presence. But you forfeited any other claim to that title a long time ago. Emma looked up at me, her eyes wide with questions I wasn't prepared to answer. Daddy, she says she's my mom from the pictures. Is she? The simple question carried the weight of years of bedtime tears and birthday wishes for a mother who never called. I knelt down to Emma's level, aware of everyone watching. Yes, sweetie. This is Vanessa. She's your biological mother. I chose my words carefully, feeling like I was navigating a minefield. But we need to talk about this more at home, okay? I was hoping we could all talk, Vanessa said. The three of us. Like a family. The audacity nearly stole my breath. We're not a family, I said flatly. You made that choice. People change, David. Her voice softened. I've changed. Before I could respond, the office door opened again, and Claire stepped in, looking so out of place in her executive attire amid the elementary school surroundings. Our eyes met, and something unspoken passed between us, support, understanding, something new and fragile. I'm sorry to interrupt, she said, professional composure intact despite the confusion in her eyes. David, when you ran out, I was concerned. Your assistant mentioned where you'd gone. Vanessa's gaze darted between Claire and me, assessing with the sharp intuition she'd always possessed. And you are? Claire Harrison. David's. She hesitated, the undefined nature of our relationship hanging awkwardly. Boss, I finished, though the word felt inadequate after our morning conversation. Emma tugged at my sleeve. Daddy, is she your girlfriend? The innocent question hung in the air, making Claire's cheeks color slightly. Miss Harrison is Daddy's boss who was kind enough to check on us, I explained, though the look Vanessa gave me said she didn't believe it for a second. I should go, Claire said, backing toward the door. David, take whatever time you need. We can reschedule the quarterly review. She left before I could thank her, leaving a vacuum that Vanessa quickly filled. So that's why you're not interested in reconciliation, she said with a knowing smile. You've moved on. Reconciliation? The word felt like a slap. You abandoned your daughter. You signed away your parental rights. You haven't sent so much as a birthday card in 5 years. Mrs. Winters discreetly ushered Emma to a side room with some coloring books, giving us privacy that felt dangerous. I made mistakes, Vanessa admitted, and for the first time, I saw something like remorse in her eyes. Terrible ones. But I've been in therapy. I've built a stable life. I miss her, David. I miss what we could have been. Why now? I demanded, the question that had been burning since I got the call. Vanessa looked down, then met my eyes with the directness that had once made me fall in love with her. I'm getting married again. He's a good man, stable, kind. He's encouraged me to make amends, to try to be part of Emma's life again. As what? The fun weekend mom who swoops in with presents while I handle the daily grind. Bitterness I thought I'd processed years ago surged back. As whatever role you'll allow, she said quietly. I know I don't deserve anything. But Emma deserves to know her mother loves her, even if that mother was too broken to show it before. Her words hit their mark. Everything I'd done for the past 5 years had been for Emma's well-being. Could I deny her the chance to know her mother, if Vanessa truly had changed? The side door opened, and Emma peered out, her eyes moving between us with a child's perception that sees more than adults realize. Are you fighting because of me? She asked in a small voice. In that moment, caught between my past and whatever future might be unfolding, I realized that the hardest choices are never about what we want, but what those we love need. No, sweetheart, I said, beckoning her over. We're just figuring out some grown-up stuff. How would you feel about having lunch with your dad and Vanessa? The hope that bloomed on my daughter's face told me I'd made the right choice, even as my phone vibrated with a text from Claire. Are you okay? Call me when you can. Past and future, colliding in one impossible afternoon. The stakes just got higher. Will David choose the family that could have been, or the future that's just beginning to take shape? Subscribe now to this channel and share your thoughts below. The diner near Emma's school felt like neutral ground, public enough to keep emotions in check, casual enough for Emma to feel comfortable. My daughter sat beside me in the booth, opposite Vanessa, her eyes wide with curiosity as she nibbled on French fries. Do you remember when we used to make pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse? Vanessa asked Emma, trying desperately to forge a connection. Emma shook her head. Daddy makes pancakes with blueberry faces. The small rejection made Vanessa flinch. I felt a twinge of sympathy despite myself. This woman was a stranger to her own child. Emma, why don't you check out that arcade game over there while I talk to Vanessa for a minute? I handed her some quarters, watching as she skipped away, resilient in that way only children can be. She's beautiful, Vanessa whispered, eyes glistening. She has your kindness. What do you really want, Vanessa? I kept my voice low. The truth this time. She twisted her napkin between manicured fingers. Robert, my fiancé, he wants children. When I told him about Emma, he encouraged me to reconnect before we start our own family. She hesitated. And there's something else. I'm selling my story to Meridian Publishing. Motherhood Reclaimed, about women who leave their children and find their way back. The revelation hit like a physical blow. Meridian, Claire's company. My company. You're using our trauma for a book deal. My voice shook with disbelief. I'm trying to help women like me, she insisted. And the advance would let me provide for Emma financially. Child support I never paid. Money doesn't replace years of absence. My phone buzzed again. Claire, checking in. I ignored it, watching Emma at the arcade machine, blissfully unaware of the adults rewriting her story. My editor says it needs a happy ending, Vanessa continued. Reconciliation, co-parenting success. It would mean so much to readers struggling with similar choices. The calculated manipulation was so familiar it ached. Our daughter isn't a character in your redemption arc. No, but she deserves two parents who can at least be civil. A mother in her life. I know I have no right to ask. You don't, I cut her off, then sighed. But Emma might have the right to know you. My phone buzzed a third time. This time, I glanced down. David, Vanessa Chen just signed a major deal with Meridian. Did you know? We need to talk. Claire. I looked up to find Vanessa watching me, something calculating behind her remorse. You knew Claire was from Meridian, I said slowly. This isn't coincidence. I did my research, she admitted. But I didn't know about your relationship until today. That's genuine surprise. Emma returned, saving Vanessa from my response. Daddy, can we get ice cream? Before I could answer, the diner door opened, and Claire walked in, spotted us, and froze. The professional mask she wore at the office had slipped, revealing something raw and personal. Your boss seems to be following you, Vanessa observed quietly. Emma waved enthusiastically at Claire. Miss Boss Lady. Do you want ice cream with us? The moment suspended between heartbeats, my daughter inviting my almost something to join us with my ex-wife who was leveraging our pain for profit. For lives intersecting in ways I couldn't have imagined this morning. Claire approached our table, her eyes meeting mine with questions I couldn't answer in front of Emma. I should go, Vanessa said, suddenly standing. She pressed a business card into my hand. Call me when you're ready to discuss visitation. And David? Her voice dropped so only I could hear. The book proceeds are for Emma's college fund. I'm trying to do one thing right. As Vanessa walked away, Claire took her place in the booth, Emma chattering excitedly between us, unaware of the tension. Your manuscript landed on my desk an hour ago, Claire said quietly while Emma studied the dessert menu. You should have told me. I just found out myself. The betrayal felt fresh. Claire, I had no idea. Who's getting a manuscript? Emma asked, looking between us. Claire smiled at her, genuine warmth breaking through the professional concern. Just grown-up work stuff, sweetheart. What kind of ice cream are you thinking about? As they discussed ice cream flavors, my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Tell your girlfriend to reject the manuscript if you don't want Emma to read about why her mother really left. Some truths are better left buried. V. The threat was clear. Whatever game Vanessa was playing had just become infinitely more dangerous. The plot thickens. What terrible secret is Vanessa threatening to reveal? Subscribe now and comment below. The truth has weight, invisible but crushing. For 2 days after the diner, I carried Vanessa's threat like stones in my pockets, dragging me down with each step. Emma asked about her mother constantly, while Claire waited patiently for an explanation I couldn't give. The manuscript is compelling, Claire said quietly, sitting across from me at a small cafe 3 blocks from Meridian's offices. Far enough to be discreet, close enough to claim it was work-related. But there's something missing. The father's perspective. I stared into my untouched coffee. She's blackmailing me. Claire's expression hardened. Tell me. If you reject the manuscript, she'll tell Emma why she really left. My voice cracked. The whole truth would destroy my daughter's image of me. What truth could be so terrible? Claire reached for my hand, her touch grounding me. The confession stuck in my throat, 5 years of carrying it alone, this secret that had hollowed me out. I knew Vanessa was unhappy. I saw the signs but ignored them because I couldn't face failing at our marriage. I swallowed hard. The night she left, we fought. I said things, cruel things. I told her she was a terrible mother, that Emma would be better off without her. Claire's eyes widened. You didn't mean it. I did, in that moment. And she believed me. The shame burned fresh. What kind of father tells his child's mother she's worthless to her own daughter? A human one, Claire said softly. We all say things we regret when we're hurt. My phone chimed with a text from Emma's babysitter. Someone named Vanessa is here to see Emma. Says she's her mother. Should I let her in? Panic surged through me. She's at my apartment. With Emma. Claire's response was immediate. Let's go. 20 minutes later, we stood in my living room, watching Emma show Vanessa her collection of stuffed animals. The domestic scene looked so natural it ached. You didn't return my texts, Vanessa said coolly, eyes flicking between Claire and me. I assumed you were busy with your boss. You can't just show up, I hissed, keeping my voice low. We have custody arrangements to discuss first. Actually, Vanessa smiled thinly, I've been speaking with a lawyer. Since I never legally terminated my parental rights, just abandoned them, I could petition for partial custody. Especially with my stable new marriage, income from my book deal. The implied threat hung between us. Claire stepped forward, professional mask firmly in place. Ms. Chen, as your potential publisher, I should inform you that Meridian has strict ethics policies. Leveraging personal relationships for publication advantages could jeopardize your contract. Her voice was silk over steel. Vanessa's smile faltered. I'm just trying to reconnect with my daughter. By threatening her father. Claire countered. That manuscript crossed my desk directly. Quite unusual for our submission process. Emma approached, clutching her favorite teddy bear. Are you all fighting again? The innocent question cut through the tension. I knelt to her level, searching for words that wouldn't add to the damage already done. Sometimes grown-ups disagree about important things, I explained. Like how to best take care of the people they love. Like me? Emma asked, too perceptive for her age. Yes, sweetheart. Like you. I brushed her hair back. Everyone here wants what's best for you. Emma looked at Vanessa, then at Claire, then back to me. I like having a mom, she said carefully. But I don't want you to be sad, Daddy. The simple statement broke something open in the room. Vanessa's expression crumpled, the calculation replaced by genuine pain. I never wanted to hurt either of you, she whispered. I just wanted back what I threw away. Claire's hand found my shoulder, steadying me. The four of us stood in a tableau of broken and possible families, the manuscript and its threats hanging between us like a time bomb. Then Emma did what children do best, cut through adult complexity with devastating simplicity. She took Vanessa's hand and my hand, joining them together. You don't have to be married to be my parents, she said. Miss Claire can be Daddy's special friend, and you can be my sometimes mom. The wisdom from an 8-year-old silenced all of us. In that moment, looking at our joined hands and Claire's surprised smile, I saw a path forward I hadn't believed possible. But Vanessa pulled her hand away, tears streaming down her face. It's not that simple, baby. Sometimes people hurt each other too much to fix things halfway. She grabbed her purse, heading for the door. I'll tell my publisher I'm withdrawing the manuscript, she said quietly. Some stories shouldn't be told until everyone's ready to hear them. As the door closed behind her, leaving the three of us in stunned silence, my phone buzzed with a final text from Vanessa. She deserves better than what either of us can give her alone. I'll have my lawyer draw up reasonable visitation terms. No courts, no drama. And David? Don't waste your second chance at happiness. She seems worth fighting for. I looked up to find Claire watching me, something unspoken but unmistakable in her eyes. Autumn leaves swirled across the playground as I sat on a bench, watching Emma chase her friends through fallen foliage. 6 months had passed since that day in my apartment, 6 months of careful negotiations, tentative steps forward, and rebuilding what had been broken. She's getting so tall, Claire said, settling beside me on the bench, our shoulders touching. She handed me a coffee, the warmth seeping through the paper cup into my fingers. Think she'll be ready for tomorrow? Tomorrow. The word carried weight, Emma's first overnight visit with Vanessa and her new husband, Robert. We'd worked up to it slowly, supervised visits, day trips, weekend brunches. Building trust brick by brick, for Emma's sake. She packed her bag 3 times, I admitted. Color-coded her outfits for each day. Claire laughed, the sound still new enough to send warmth through me. Definitely your daughter. The simple phrase, your daughter, echoed differently now. Not a reminder of single parenthood's burden but an acknowledgement of the love that had shaped us both. I keep thinking about what I would have missed, I said quietly, watching Emma's hair stream behind her as she ran. If I'd let bitterness win. If you hadn't pushed me to see beyond my own pain. Claire intertwined her fingers with mine. In the 6 months since Vanessa's return and withdrawal, Claire had moved from boss to friend to something much more, the woman who stayed up late helping Emma with science projects, who brought soup when we both caught the flu, who kissed me goodnight with a promise of tomorrow. You would have found your way there, she said with conviction. You've always put Emma first. Not always, I admitted, the confession easier now that I'd made peace with my mistakes. The night Vanessa left, I was thinking of myself, not Emma. My pride, my feelings of failure. We all have moments we wish we could take back, Claire said. What matters is what we do after. My phone chimed with a text from Vanessa, just confirming pickup at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Emma still wants pancakes for breakfast? The simple, mundane question spoke volumes about how far we'd come. No threats, no manipulation, just co-parenting across the broken landscape of our past. I texted back, yes to pancakes. She's excited. Thank you for doing this right. Daddy. Miss Claire. Watch this. Emma called, preparing for some playground feat of daring. We both stood instinctively, ready to applaud or rush forward if needed. The synchronicity wasn't lost on me, this unexpected family we were building. Later that evening, after Emma fell asleep clutching her packed backpack, Claire and I sat on my apartment balcony, the city lights stretching below us. "I received Vanessa's new manuscript today," Claire said, swirling wine in her glass. "It's different from what she originally pitched." I tensed. "Different how?" "It's honest. Raw. About her mistakes, her regrets. No villains, no heroes, just people trying their best." Claire looked at me. "She asked for your permission before we move forward with publication." The gesture, this respect for boundaries we'd all violated before, moved me unexpectedly. "She's really changed, hasn't she?" "People can," Claire said softly, "when they have something worth changing for." The night air carried the scent of approaching winter, of endings and beginnings wrapped together. I thought about the winding path that had brought us here, how losing what I thought I needed had eventually led me to what I truly wanted. "I have something for you," I said, reaching into my pocket for the small box I'd been carrying for weeks, waiting for the right moment. "It's not what you think, not yet. But it's a promise." Claire's eyes widened as I opened the box to reveal a simple silver key. "It's to this apartment," I explained. "Not just for practical reasons, though Emma loves when you're here for breakfast. But because for the first time since I became a father, I'm ready to build something that's not just about survival, but about joy." Tears gathered in her eyes as she took the key, its symbolism far beyond the metal and teeth. "Are you sure?" "With everything still settling with Vanessa, with Emma adjusting." "That's exactly why I'm sure," I said, taking her hand. "Life doesn't wait for perfect timing. It's messy and complicated and beautiful because of it. Emma taught me that." Claire leaned forward, pressing her forehead to mine. "Then yes. To this key, to breakfast, to complicated family dynamics and whatever comes next." Inside, Emma stirred, calling out sleepily. We both rose immediately, moving toward her room with the instinctive coordination of people who had chosen each other, chosen family in its most meaningful sense. Emma sat up as we entered, hair mussed from sleep. "I had a dream," she murmured. "We were all having a picnic, you and me and Miss Claire and Mom and Robert. Nobody was fighting." "That sounds like a nice dream," I said, sitting on the edge of her bed. "Can we do that someday? For real?" She looked between us, this child who had lost a mother and found her again, who had watched her father stumble and rise, who understood forgiveness better than most adults. Claire sat on her other side, the three of us forming a circle of something that didn't have a simple name but felt like home. "I think we can," Claire said. "It might take time, but the best things usually do." As Emma drifted back to sleep between us, I caught Claire's gaze over our daughter's head, because that's what Emma had become to her, too, not by blood but by that deeper choice to love without conditions or guarantees. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, Emma's first overnight with Vanessa, the continuing navigation of boundaries, the everyday complexities of blending lives that had once been separate. But tonight, watching the two people who had taught me most about love, I understood that second chances weren't about erasing the past but about building something new from its lessons. The key to Claire's heart lay not in forgetting what had broken us, but in how carefully we gathered the pieces and what we chose to create from them. Thank you for following David, Emma, and Claire's journey of heartbreak and healing. If their story touched you, please subscribe for more emotional tales of family, forgiveness, and finding love in unexpected places. Comment below with your own stories of second chances. We're all walking this human path together, stumbling, rising, and sometimes, if we're lucky, finding exactly what we need when we least expect it. The end.